record on this. And then I have to do it on my phone. Got it. It's not funny. Otherwise, my phone will stop. I once did a long Zoom meeting and, oops, I'm trying to just ignore my phone for a minute. Okay. And I forgot to hit accept it on my phone, and I didn't record. No one could see. It was terrible. So this time we've got it. So hello, everyone, and welcome. I hope that you guys are as excited as I am to be doing this technique class together. Is my screen full of lines? And did you discuss what we're using besides the stamps? No, we didn't really discuss. Okay. So we'll get into that right now. My screen is not full of lines, so I'm wondering if it's your device. Is anyone else having any problems? Okay, wonderful. So we're using artistically inked. We're using blending brushes, and then 4 colors of ink pads. And I still have an old one in here. So we have, and I guess I should highlight my screen now so that you don't see me anymore. I mean, you might. That's all right. There we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do, don't stress about trying to keep up with me because it's going to be recorded. It's much more important that you just enjoy the experience. Okay. It's really not a difficult technique, and it's just going to be one of these things that you go, oh my word, this is so cool. I can't wait to see what other stamp sets I can use with this. So I'm thinking today I'm using artistically inked, but let's see if I have, there's another stamp set that's out and it's called On the Ocean. And I'm just gonna mute everybody, okay? Just to so that it doesn't interfere with anybody. Admit and admit. Now, one person, it just says Zoom user, so I'm kind of scared about that. I'm hoping it's no one freaky. Then I'll just have to kick them out. Okay, so just make sure, if I haven't done it already, just mute your sound, and that way we don't hear everybody's background noise. And then if you want to ask a question, you can either put it in the chat or unmute yourself to ask. But at the end, when I'm done showing the technique, then we'll do a chat and so that everyone can talk, because that's fun. Part of the fun is that, oh good, the Zoom user looks like a normal person. This is great. You just never know. Okay, so I'm going to highlight my phone, Spotlight, I think it's called. Let's see, tell me if that works for you. Can you all see it big now? Okay, yep. Super, awesome. Okay, so we're gonna start, I'm gonna get my paper trimmer. You need a piece of white cardstock. Now, I am using European A4 cardstock because I'm all out of my American 8.5 by 11. So my measurements are gonna be slightly off, but look, here are the measurements. Is it gonna zoom in on that? Please focus. It's not focusing.
Jackie, can I ask a question?
Yep, go ahead.
Is it the thick or the thin that we're using?
Both will work, but I use the thin. You do not need to use the, yeah, so thin.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So, okay, so that is, and I'll take a picture of this. If you can't see this, I don't know why it's not focusing. Maybe it's just too close up. I'll tell you anyway, okay? So we're gonna take a sheet of white and we're gonna cut it at 5.5 by 3 1/4. Okay, so 5.5. Oh, and you know what? I'm just realizing I have to cut a little bit longer. So because my card is going to be longer, mine has to be 14.9 centimeters. So if you're watching from Europe, you're going to need the longer measurement because A4 cardstock is a little bit longer and skinnier than ours. And then so you can either do it at 3 1/4 inches or at, let me look, 8 centimeters. Okay. And then we're going to turn it sideways and we're going to cut either at 2 inches or at 5 centimeters. It's almost the exact same thing. Okay. And then you're going to have 2 pieces like this. Okay. So this piece is 3 1/4 by 2, and then this is the rest, which we don't even have to measure. Okay. Now I'm going to put a piece of black underneath here. So we have our 2 pieces, and now we're going to do our stamping. We're going to start with Starry Sky. Oh, I need to admit, Kathy, I gotta keep my eye on things here. So we're going.
Jackie.
Yes.
So Oh, can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Okay, Jackie, it's Susan. I still don't know how to get rid of these lines. I've never had that before.
That's really weird. Are you getting your lines everywhere?
Just on what you're showing.
Okay, so if it's me talking, you had lines on my face as well.
Yeah,
And no
but
one
it's
else
still
has it
pretty
though.
looking. What?
I said, and no one else has that problem, so it must be your device. What are you watching? Are you on an iPad?
No, I'm on the screen, the computer, the big
Okay,
one.
that's really strange.
So I can't really see what you've got for measurements or anything.
Okay. Oh, yeah. But you know what? The measurements were not very clear. So I'm going to repeat them. So you want
Okay.
the white that's 3¼ by 5½.
Okay.
Okay. 3¼ by 5½. And you're going to cut it so that you have a piece that's 3¼ by 2. Oh, yeah. Stella says to try quitting and rejoining. Sometimes that will get rid of your technical
What?
problems. Just leave the meeting, click on leave,
Okay.
and then join again, and I'll admit you, and then maybe those problems will be gone.
Okay, so I'm going to stop the video.
Yeah, just stop it
Okay.
entirely. At the bottom, there's a little box that will say
Yeah.
leave the meeting, and then click in and join in again. Okay, we'll see if that works. Okay, so I'm inking up in Starry Sky. Okay, and I'm going to stamp right on the bottom, or actually the top of that piece. See, so I have a piece that goes all the way across, and now I'm going to clean my, oh, you know what? I have to grab my cleaner.
Oh, no, I just don't, nope.
Not working, Susan, but Susan, I didn't see that you actually left. You just turned your video off. You have to
Right.
you have to leave the meeting.
And I don't, okay, leave. All right, bye.
Okay, bye.
Leaving meeting.
All right, hopefully that will work. Okay, so now we're taking Coastal Cabana. Okay, I've cleaned my stamp. Tap, tap, tap. And it's a good idea to make sure your ink pads are pretty juicy when you do this. So I've got that one. And I've overlapped a little bit. See how there's a bit of overlap between the Starry Sky and the Coastal Cabana? There's probably about a ½ inch overlap. And now I'm closing up my Coastal Cabana. I've left my Starry Sky open because I'm going to need it again. The hardest part about this is that you have to clean your stamp between colors every time. So that's not too difficult. So now we're going to take Melon Mambo. And you know what? If you still have your old ink pads, they work just fine. You don't have to get rid of them to get the new colors. The advantage to the new colors is that they fit perfectly in our lovely storage systems and they stack really well. But the old ones are pretty awesome too. So show them some love. Okay, so I've inked up my Melon Mambo and I'm going to put that right here. And you know what? I didn't even look. I may have done this opposite to my card, but oh, you know what? I didn't. If I would have, that would have been okay. So I don't see Susan joining again. I mean, no.
Yeah, right.
That's
I
okay.
want to.
All right, so now I'm going to do it with Petal Pink. Okay, so that's Petal Pink. And then I'll show you my finished cards in a minute before I do anything else. There. And so again, I could have overlapped that a little bit more, but I'm not working right underneath, like I'm working kind of away from myself. And then if you mess up, you can just flip your paper over and do it on the other side. That's always a good trick. All right, so now I'm going to take my Starry Sky and my blending brush. Okay. Tap, tap, tap. And then in circles starting off, you're going to just do like this. And then you could turn it. And this is where the magic happens, because what's happening is that you get more of a solid image that doesn't look like the other stamp. So it's like, how did they do that? And you can go as dark as you want. But you see how you start off and then work your way in? That way you don't get any blotches. You don't want blotches. That's looking quite nice, isn't it? All right, so now we're going to take this piece and Melon Mambo. And we're going to do the exact same thing. I've inked it up, move that out of the way, and circles. It's kind of fun to use a piece of black cardstock as it's less distracting than grid paper, but normally when I'm creating myself, I use grid paper. So this is looking really beautiful, I think. And I might just go up a little bit more into like this because I didn't overlap my stamp enough. And I kind of like the blending of the colors a little bit more. Okay. And now I'm actually going to use this piece of black cardstock as my base, even though I sponged on it. How bad is that? It's going to be the inside. And the inside, we're just going to put a layer in there anyway. So you know what? That's just using your resources very well. So now I'm using the long. If you guys are using 8.5 by 11, you're going to score it at 5.5. Don't look at my thing. I'm scoring at 14.9. These measurements are finally starting to sink into my brain. So you're scoring and then turning, and then you're going to cut at 4.25 or at 10.5 centimeters. And I didn't figure this out right away when I was a demonstrator, but you right away get two at once. You score once, you cut once, and you've got two cards. I didn't know that right away. I used to cut my cardstock in half and then score. So now I've got to make sure that my messy part goes in the inside. You can also, if you don't like your fold being at the top, I usually like my fold being at the side. Then you can do it the other way around. But if you do have your fold at the top, make sure you use your bone folder and give it a good fold. Otherwise, your card isn't going to stand up very long. Oh, that's a good idea, Stella, to use a silicone craft sheet under your cardstock with using blending brushes. Oh, good. That's a great tip. Thank you. All right, so now we're going to take our pieces and they cover up. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I want to show you. Before I go any further, I want you guys to see the comparison. Let's see. My original card that I did was, I was inspired by Martin's Mayhem. I think it was Martin's Mayhem. No, it wasn't. It was Mitosu Crafts from the UK. And this was the card with a gray smoky slate background. And then I used the Stamparatus to stamp the thanks. It's not focusing very well. I'm really sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. Oh, you know what? Spotlighted. No, I don't want to unmute. Maybe now it will. Was asking me something. No, it's not focusing very well at all. If I tap on it, will it focus? No. Oh, well, you know what? Life isn't perfect. You can see this is the other card. I used it on black and I embossed because I didn't have the Stamparatus to stamp on that joint. I was worried that it wasn't going to work well. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to stamp in Versamark and then emboss in white. And I actually prefer it. I love it on the black background and I love it embossed in the white. So I will take pictures later and post them on my Facebook page so that you can see it, and in the event so that you can see it. And I'll take a picture of the measurements. And that way, you know, we don't have to worry about the zooming not being perfect, that it's not focused. I'm really hooked on liquid adhesive now. This is what the European demonstrators got me on. It helps me, it's cheaper, and it gives me a little wiggle room so that when my crooked eye is having a bad day or a good day, depending on how you think of it, I can wiggle things around a little bit. I can get right up to my seam at the top. Okay, and now this piece, and that's why it's called a split sponging. And you know what? Even though it's because of that fold, even though you've cut them exactly at the right thing, I've got about 1 millimeter of overlap here, which I do not like. And I don't want to go over top because then I'm going to have a bump. So you can trim it later. I'll show you how. So here we go. And then we're going to do our embossing. Now I have to say, I could not find an extension cord, and my embossing, oh, Deborah's here now. Wonderful. So when I emboss, it won't be on screen, I don't think. I'll do my best. Maybe I can shove things around a little bit and make it happen. You know, you never know. The magic could happen. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my trimmer because look at this. I'm going to turn this upside down and then you'll see what the problem is. See, there's a little piece of white. And I don't know if that fold takes up that much, or if, you know, you could just cut it a little bit less. I don't know, but this works just perfectly fine. Lay it on your trimmer. And then there, I've just cut that little piece of white off, and now my card is perfect. And yeah, I didn't go over the top. So it's just that fold takes up about 1 millimeter. So if you're a perfectionist, that's how you deal with that problem. Now I have this great thing. Do you guys have this too, this tray? It's wonderful. I have to admit that I was feeling a little, I don't know if I'm allowed to use the word bitchy, but when Stampin' Up brought this thing out, I thought, wow, why didn't they just put the tray? I mean, I already have an embossing buddy. I don't need another embossing buddy. However, it also came with these amazing tweezers, which are so super duty heavy. They're wonderful. So, and then this brush to clean it out. And guess what? You know what? You can always use two embossing buddies, right? In case you put one in the wrong spot. So actually, it's a great tool. I'm really thankful that I have it. So I have my thanks. And I'm going to, if you just joined in, thanks so much for joining. And I did not re-ink my Versamark, but if you're not using a Stamparatus, if you weren't lucky enough to get one before they had to get rid of it, then make sure you re-ink your Versamark pad. I'm going to go right over top of the fold, and then I'm going to press hard, and I'm going to count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That just gives a chance for that ink to transfer so that you have an, because you don't want spotty embossing. So now I'm just going to lay it in the thing here, pour on the powder. It's a fun technique, isn't it, Bianca? Yeah, it is. And you can play with different color combinations. I think it would look really nice in a kind of a solid. Oh, look at this. This is terrible. Now we're going to see. Oh, look. And I forgot. Look at this. Isn't this awful? All right. So you can see that horrible things happen to me too. I'm going to give it a really hard thwack with my finger. Oh, yeah. And look how much better that is. But you see, I think that the ink was still a little bit wet, and I should have used that embossing buddy I was talking about, and I forgot. So now the surgery is not yet complete. We're going to take this brush, and we're just going to get it out of there a little bit. Now, I wish I had a smaller brush, and I do somewhere, but not handy. So we're just going to do that. Get rid of the worst. And then it's a good thing I have another card that's actually really nice. This one might not be perfect. You know what? An imperfect card is still better than no card, don't you think? Okay. Really hard flick. And now look, it's okay. Now I'm going to see if I can get, and I'm going to clean this up later. This is usually a no-go. You should put it back in, but I'm going to put it far away so that I can't knock it over all over the place. All right, let's see if I can get close. Oh, look at this. We can do this. I'm going to move my laptop a little bit, moving my phone stand. We're going to do this. All right. So when you have a heat tool, you don't want to wave it around like a hairdryer. Oh, I've got more people coming in. Sorry, made them wait a little bit. Okay, can't focus on everything. So I'm putting it right on 2, and I'm holding it in one spot still. It starts to change. And as soon as it doesn't look powdery anymore, that's when it's done. And the problem with embossing, if you're not patient enough, then you stop too soon, and then you can move, it can get wrecked. Now, let's see. There it goes. You can see it starting to change. It's getting glossy. And I think it turned out fairly well.
How do I see that?
Isn't that nice?
Yes.
Yeah. So you do want to have a fairly big, bold stamp to cut across that. Now I'm going to do it one more time for those of you who joined late. Now, oh, you guys are going to laugh at me. Okay, so you should always close your ink pads, right, when you're not using them. Look, I did not close my ink pad, and I put my white piece right in the middle of it. So I've wasted white cardstock, but I will use that to stamp off. I'm not going to throw it out. So now we have this piece of white, and I'm going to cut it again. Okay, we're going to do it one more time for the late joiners. I'm cutting a piece at, what you would do is at 5.5. I'm going to go to 14.9. Oh, see, that's perfect. And then you're going to cut it. So 5.5 by 3.25. And I'm doing it. I have to check my little list because I forget what the metric is. At 8 centimeters. Okay. So 8 centimeters for me, 3.25 inches for you. And then we're going to cut it at 2 inches or 5 centimeters. Okay. And then I'm not going to do the embossing a second time, but I am just gonna show you what this looks like when you stamp it.
I keep on cutting out.
Okay, and I'm just gonna ask everybody to just mute your microphone if you can. That way we don't hear the extra background noise. So we're gonna take the stamp set from Artistically Inked, and we're going to stamp it in Starry Sky. And you want to make sure that the flounces are going up or down, but not going towards the middle. Does that make sense? This is kind of your straight edge, and then this edge is the flounces. That's what I'm calling it anyway. And then we want Coastal Cabana. And you know what? I haven't thought of it, but you could use, I love Coastal Cabana. But you could use some of the new colors too. So I would love it if you guys, if you make this card with the technique, post it on my Pampered Stamper page. And then everybody can see the different combinations. So I'm going to overlap a little bit. Like so that you get the colors mixing a bit. And then on the other part, we're going to do Melon Mambo and Petal Pink. There. So the flounces going out away from the middle part. Here. And then let's say I didn't go far enough, I can go and stamp again. See, and I get another shade. So you can play with this. It's just a really fun, forgiving technique, and it's the blending with the blending brush. Oh, Susan's back again. There we go. Hopefully she has no troubles this time. And it's just a fun one to play with. And I love the if you have a Stamparatus, you could stamp with the black.
There you go.
Oh, there you go, Susan. So just turn your mute your microphone.
I look like Susan, don't I?
Oh goodness, you know what? I don't see everybody right now, so I can't see who's talking. There we go. All right, it doesn't matter. Oh, Helen's here too. Hi, Helen. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, it's kind of like a Facebook Live or YouTube Live. You can't be calling out names, everybody. I'm just really happy that each and every one of you is here. So if I haven't greeted you by name, I'm sorry. But trust me, you are precious to me. And it's really nice that you took the time to join me. Okay, blending brush. Oh, there it is. It was under my whatchamacallit, my Stampin' Scrub. All right, so now we're going to take the Starry Sky and we're going to get the blending brush in there. And actually, you know what? I'm going to try the silicone matte trick if I have it here. I might not. I remember, oh yeah, here it is. Okay, let's try that. Here, I'm always up for something new. Oh gosh, look what I did. I used the pink brush and I put it in my Starry Sky. Just when you thought that things couldn't get any crazier, you know what? Take a look. You remember that piece that I wrecked? I told you it would come in handy. Let's have a look. Oh, this is terrible. Look at, you get a really nice new color though. Look at that beautiful purple that's coming. I'm getting a lilac. Goodness gracious. Okay, well, guess what? It's gone now. The blue is gone. I think it might be safe. Oh well, happy accident. There. Oh, I can't believe I did that. All right. Yeah, actually I can. I totally can. All right, so I've got my Starry Sky and I'm just going to sponge it on. And then you can just rinse your silicone matte afterwards. The silicone matte is a fantastic tool, I have to say. I love that thing. It's also great as with not using the Stamparatus. If you put your cardstock on the silicone matte, it has a little bit of squish. It also holds your cardstock so that it doesn't slide around. So that's really, really nice too. So that's, yeah, that's great. And you know what? If you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you want to get people that aren't stampers to buy from you, this is a great little tool for a hot glue gun as well. So you can tell your non-stamping friends that they need a silicone matte. That's my little tip for the day. So now we're going to try this poorly abused blending brush with Melon Mambo. We'll see what happens. Well, you know what? It doesn't look bad. I see a hint of purple, but that's okay. Everyone's got, in cases my card is going to go, oh, I can't get that purple like you did. I'm like, little secret there. Okay, see how that goes? Looks great. Good tip. All right, let's see my black piece. So now we put it together. This is just a regular size card. And I'm wondering what, oh, look at this. I got blue fingerprints on it too. Oh, there's a Dutch word for that. It's verschrikkelijk, which means terrible, shocking. Anyway, you know what I could do with this? I could turn it into a square card. It doesn't look as good that way. It needs to have the white on the top. That looks kind of silly. So basically, you're just putting it together. Well, I'll do it. You know what? I said I wasn't going to do it. I'm going to do it. Yeah. As soon as I find my glue. It's right now. It was stuck to my my brush. This one. If you guys could see what happens behind the scenes, you go, oh, 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 just like at my place. Except when you do it on film and you're videoing, there you have no secrets. Everybody knows your flaws. And you know, if people know you well enough, they're waiting for it to happen because they know it's going to happen. It's funny, isn't it? Okay. And actually, a tip. Remember how we had that little extra piece that I had to trim off on the first card? Start with the bottom piece because on the top one, you've got a little more left to trim off. You've got a bit more wiggle room. And take a look. I didn't score it perfectly. I've got a lot more on the top, but unfortunately not enough to cut off that smudge. Oh, well, you know what? We're going to put it on first. It's easier to trim it after you've got it on rather than to guess how much to trim off. Okay. And then make sure you butt that up nice and tight. That's the important part. And then give it a nice press. And now we do have that adhesive remover. And I know some people have said that there is some kind of eraser, but I had that eraser. It's still in Canada. It didn't work. By the time it gets your ink off, your cardstock is kind of delaminated and it's not pretty. Everybody can see that you made a mistake and tried to get rid of it. You're better off to just slap a butterfly or something on, or just use this as a, you know what, it was a good teaching opportunity and it's okay. So this time I am going to do the embossing because we're together anyway. And if you leave, you won't hurt my feelings. Oh, I don't want to trim off the top of the card. There. There. Now it's fixed, except for my smudge. But what we're going to do this time, because I'm learning from my mistakes, is as soon as I find it, oh yeah, it's over here. I've got my embossing powder, but first we're going to do the embossing buddy because remember your ink, we've sponged a lot of ink on there. So we're just going to do that. And then we're going to emboss. We'll see if it makes a difference. Now you can see if the embossing buddy is worth getting or not. Tap, tap, tap on the Versamark. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 press. And off. Hopefully I did okay. You don't know till the embossing powder gets on there. Oh yeah, it's a lot better. There's a few little spots, but that's probably from the edge. I haven't trimmed my stamp. And then remember, a little brute force can do a lot. A good hard flick will, there. And I can't do it under the camera because there's only like, honestly, 6 inches. So I just hold it up and there. And now we'll emboss it. And that's it, people. All right. And then we'll do a little chat. So you hold the embossing gun and you do not wave it about. And that way you slowly move it to where it's still powdery. And there you can see it start to turn. And it's not perfect. My L is a little wonky, but that's okay. And then, oh yeah, what I usually do too, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, the top of the H and the top of the L are not good yet. I usually hold it in natural light and you can see it has a slight brownish tinge to it. And then you know it's not done yet. There it goes. Because if you touch your embossing when it hasn't embossed all the way, it's still powdery and it will come off. So that's not fun. So you need a little bit of patience. I don't have a butterfly punch handy. And you know what? The one good thing about my camera not zooming very well is you can't even see my smudge. So to you, my card looks perfect. How exciting is that? Let me see now. I'm going to see if I can remove the spotlight. I just removed the spotlight. Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. So now if you have any questions at all, feel free. I'd love to answer your questions. And then I'd love to hear from you if you like this idea, if you want me to do this every other week instead of a regular YouTube. Yeah, you liked it? Awesome. Good. And yeah, that's nice. Let me see. We have 16 people on. I'm really happy with that. I was kind of worried when people said that when I saw there was going to be 30, I thought, oh my word, 30 is a lot. I don't know if I can handle 30. So yeah, this has been really, really wonderful. You're welcome, Elizabeth. Thanks, Kathy. I really love teaching card making. So it's really special, and it's really nice for me to be able to see you as well. I like to see your smiling faces, and it just makes it a little more personal. YouTube is great, and I'm really happy that I have that venue. But yeah, so if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, I would love it if you did that, and comment and give thumbs up, because that's, you know what happens. It's not because I need, you know, how young people are on their phones and they're looking at their Instagram or their Facebook and they're looking to see how many subscribers they have or how many people have liked. It's not for my feeling good. It's because when YouTube sees it, they will promote my video to other people who like card making. So that's what it's all about. It's about YouTube thinking, oh, Jackie's doing something that other people like, and then they pass it on. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to end the meeting, and I am not even going to go for a beach walk because it is raining. It's been raining in the Netherlands all day, which is good because we needed rain, and everything's going to be just beautifully green, just like in Ireland. And yeah, it's been wonderful. So I'm really glad that you made it on again, Susan McDonald. Way to go. I will share the recording, and hopefully you'll be able to see that and be able to see everything that you may have missed. Okay. So thanks, Debbie and Linda. And I love Red Hat. That's just great. Are you part of the Red Hat Society, or are you from Red Hat, Alberta? No, that's Red Deer.
No. See, let's see.
Oh, I can hear you. You can just talk.
Oh, can you really? Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
No, I see you kept on cutting out, so I could only hear bits and pieces of what you're saying.
Oh no.
And it took me 15 minutes to get on here because I didn't know how to do it.
Oh, well, see, next time
That's
it'll
why
be
I was
so much
like-
easier.
Yeah. YouTube's easier for me, yes.
Okay, yeah. That's nice. Well, I thought, you know what, this is a
But
nice
this
experiment,
was
isn't it?
great. I love the technique, so I'm going to try that.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good.
Very nice. And thank you for doing this. Okay.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed seeing you all. It just, it's nice. And I see Helen's here. Who's Helen? Which one's Helen? Oh, there's Helen. Helen, you're wonderful. You always comment on my YouTube and leave me all those hearts, and it's just so sweet. So it's really nice to see you. It makes me happy to be able to see faces. And Linda, I've seen you comment before too. That's great. It's so nice.
Yes, we're practically neighbors.
Are we really?
Well, to Chatham.
Yeah,
not to
yeah,
the
yeah.
Netherlands. I'm in St. Mary's.
Oh, okay. Yes, yes. That's great. That's on the way to my parents. It's close to London, and yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Are you having
I'm
nice
in
weather
Chatham
today?
too.
And you're in Chatham too, Judy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
nice. And Louise, you're from Cambridge, right?
Yes, I'm from Cambridge. It's beautiful today for a
Yes.
change.
Nice. Yeah, you've had a wet spring too, haven't you?
Not this week.
No, that's great. Enjoy the sunshine, and the beautiful spring is such a lovely time of year. And I love the birds singing, and it's just wonderful. Happy, happy, happy. Oh.
Yep.
Anyway,
Nice
girls, have a
sunshine.
super day. And
You too.
and in 2 weeks, I think, is the wisteria class. So yeah,
Oh.
maybe I'll see some of you then. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Alrighty, bye.
Nice
Bye.
evening. Bye-bye.